Welcome back everybody, this is part 2. You've hopefully watched the previous bit boring video about the prep of doing this room. So we're coming back, we're getting ready to spray, and I'm going to be spraying with... The mic's falling off. I'm spraying with AF1. What does it spray like? Now, you know my thoughts on the AF1, original AF1, didn't like it. The new version of AF1, I'm actually liking it. It's nice to brush and it's nice to roll. If you do need to thin it accordingly, depending on the surface you're going over, you can do. So I'm coming in on this job and I'm going to spray the ceiling. I've got down here, you can just see it, I've got a GXFF. I'll just talk you through how I've set it up. I don't want to go into big spray videos because if you want to watch about airless spraying, there's a playlist there because there's loads of things on there about spraying with airless, and hopefully it explains how to set up a airless spray machine. But what I've done, I've got this paint out and it does say you can thin it 10%. What I've actually done, I've mixed up 7.5 litres, because that's going to be plenty for here, and I've added a litre of water to it. So I've got some clean water, put a litre of water to that 7.5 litres of paint, and I've mixed it up and I've got it actually in the machine. I'm spraying with, I know it's a Graco machine, I've got the GSFX because it's got a shorter hose, it's got a 7.5 metre hose, and I've also got a whip hose on it which is even smaller diameter. Right, just quickly, a GXFF is your fine finish spray machine. It's got a hopper so you can put small amounts of paint into it. I know I might be just doing a couple of top-ups on here, but it's a nice little unit to cart about in the back of the van without bringing a big machine out. But I'm using with a Tritech gun. Now the Tritech gun is the 2-finger, short finger trigger. I'm using a white filter in there, which is a little bit big because I'm using emulsion, but I've dropped down on the spray tip to a 5/16. Because I've thinned the paint quite thin, I can drop down a tip size. Now, I know this is going to spray all right because I've got an actual bit of a sample piece there. And if I just unlock, forget the mask, you hold the gun around about 12 inches away, not too close because you'll put too much on. Too far away, you'll just get mist all in the air. So 12 inches about your ideal distance away from the surface. Keep parallel down. That is a lovely spray fan pattern there. I've got softness on the sides. I've got no tails, and I don't need, because this is quite a low ceiling, I actually don't need an extension bar on it. If I'd got an extension bar, I'd be using the clean shot to stop any spits, but I'm not getting any tails, I'm not getting any spits at the bottom, so I'm actually quite happy with that. That's spraying really nice. So that's a 5/16. The smaller the number, i.e. the 5 at the beginning, is double it up. That will give you a fan pattern, that will give me a 10-inch spray fan pattern, and the 16 is the orifice size. That's 0.016 of an orifice, which is quite small. The smaller the number, the smaller it gets, the thinner your paint's got to be. Now, people are going to say, Phil, you can spray a ceiling like this with a 6/19. I know you can. That's going to put a lot of paint on. I don't want to be putting a load of paint on. Also, I don't want to be spraying, I don't want to have too much paint, if that makes sense. Spraying with a 5/16, it gives me 10-inch. I can control that. If I got a bigger ceiling than this, I would go to the 6, which would give me a 12-inch fan pattern. But you know what? I've sprayed numerous ceilings with this, and in domestic environments like this, it's no problem. What I've got to be mindful of, I've got a lot of stuff in the way, so I will be probably, more than likely, doing a section at a time, one way and then the other, and that will be finished, and I'll work my way around in sections of squares. It'd be nice for a clear room that I could go from one side to the other and then go horizontal and do the crosshatch method, but I'm not going to do that. This is thin paint, it's not going to be too thick, so I'm not too worried if I'm going to be doubling up on myself. So that is probably the only negative I've got about what I'm going to be doing here, because there's a lot of stuff to go around, but it's going to spray really nicely, so no problem with that. Right. What did you leave me with last time? Right, I raked out those cracks. I got them peel stopped, you probably saw that. I got them filled, 2 coats, 2 lots of filler. Once one filler had dried, I went in with the second lot of filling. And then the ceiling has been mercured with the Laros, only with a, I'll say, a worn 80 grade sanding disc. It's actually taken off any nogs, you know, we call them cod's edge, you know, where the bits of paint's left bits on it. It's actually taken that off. I wasn't looking at getting the orange peel off. It wasn't too bad. It's not really critical on the ceiling, but I have done all the ceiling there. And what else have I done? I'm moving round. I'll blend it back in. I did go over any watermarks because there were a few water stains from a previous leak, and I've gone in with the Smith & Roger Blockade. 2 coats of that shall hold hopefully anything off that ceiling from it actually staining through. So that's what I've done with the stains. The next thing I've done, right, the walls, forget that. I have actually gone over these walls with the Dios, you know, the Deros sander, the 150 disc hand sander, mainly because they were very, very orange peeled. And I'm going to bring the camera around to the other side because, you know, when contractors are coming in with 18-inch rollers, they gain little tail marks. So I mean, what distance is that? Can you see that to there? That must be an 18-inch roller sleeve that they've used. Now they've gone vertical, they've just laid off up and down. They've not had much control over the surface because they've got such a big roller sleeve. So I've got, let's call them tram lines over this surface. I don't know if you can see it better this way. I've actually got tram lines, one there and one there. Because the plastering's a little bit umpy-dory, the bigger Laros was actually skating over those dips and hollows. So what I had to do, I had to go to the hand sander and literally go over it with my hand sanding it. That has managed to get off a lot of these. You can see where they've had fatty edges on the edges of the roller. So I've gone around, done everything like that. I'll bring you to this one. That was a really bad one. And what we've done is sanded off the paint that I put on about 12, 13 years ago. And this white is the actual contract matte that's actually showing through. Any areas that have gone through to bare plaster, what I've done, I've just touched them over with some peel stop just to, in effect, prime them out. There's not many areas like that, so that little brush that I was peel stopping areas with has been fine. That means they're just sealed. When I come to paint these in the next couple of days, they won't need to be spot primed with anything else because they'll be all right with that peel stop. But if you can just see over this ceiling, I don't know whether you can, we'll cock it up. We've got areas there where I've gone with this stain block, and you can just see where the filler's been put in on those cracks and gaps. So I've done that. Thankfully the walls were pretty good. They weren't, there's nothing on there that needs filling. I'm not too worried about that. And the next thing that I've finished off with and said to you, I've also gone around all the woodwork with the Deros, the square one. Is it Deros? I can't remember. The square sander using the Surf Prep and also the Merkur sandpaper as well to get these down. So where they weren't too bad because I'd actually rubbed them down last time round, but you could just feel a little bit of an orange peel stroke of the brush marks from it being painted originally with the contractors when it was a new build. So I've gone around, sanded those all down, and I've actually caulked up and filled after raking out all those edges around the sides as well. And not forgetting, I've actually done the top edge of the skirting all the way around as well. So that will be nicely set for when I want to come and do some spraying of the woodwork. That might be still today. It just depends how we get on with this ceiling. Hopefully we should be all right. We are coming to the end of the day, but we've still got plenty of light just. Cork, you wanted to know what cork I was using. I did mention it. I finished off using that paint stop. Nice cork. Quite like that one. That was a really good cork when I did the review of corks. Please look in that corner there. 30 odd corks I tried to find out what was the best, but it wasn't so much the best, it's what actually seemed to do what it said on the tin. The other one that I use, and is a really good one, is the Red Devil. So I've gone round with the Red Devil one-time cork top edge of the skirting, and also finished off that last tube of the the paint stop cork. Both really good and flexible, and they dry pretty quick. So if you are putting cork on, within about 20 to 30 minutes you could be actually painting over it, strokes spraying, so you should be good to go. I will be good to go with that later. So everything's been sanded down. You can see it's just been a very busy day, and now I'm going to get some paint on. I'll do a little bit of filming. I don't want this camera getting loused up with overspray, not that there should be too much. I haven't got my dust blocker on this job because it's already on another job, so that's why I've not got it with me. But I will set my tripod up there. I will turn off that light. You'll see me doing a little bit of spraying. Once that ceiling's sprayed, I will come back and we'll have a review once it's all dried. I will get this patio door open, let the air flow to get it drying off pretty quick. This is touch dry 1 to 2 hours, recoat 2 to 4 and beyond. But because I'm going to be doing 2 coats in one, I don't think I'm going to be worried too much about it. Drying in about 4 hours time, it's going to be drying pretty quickly. So when I've actually got all this coated up with that double crosshatch method, it will be putting thinner coats on. So the drying time is around about 1 to 2 hours, and recoat I would say around about 4. But because this is 2 coats going on in one, I think I will see this drying off within about a couple of hours, if that. While that's drying, I can drop onto the woodwork. But when this ceiling's dry, that is when I want to be giving it a bit of a review. Does it flash? Can I see where the actual stripes are going with the roller? It's not with spraying. With the sprayer, we should be doing a 50-50 overlap, so we shouldn't really get any misses either. But I want to see from that side of the room, looking back onto this patio sliding door here, whether there's any flashing per se, because this is called AF1, which is anti-flash 1, and I'm hoping it's a 1% sheen level. So let me get spraying. I've got my mask, and you will see me later on when we review what it's like actually dry. Well, look at that, the sun's come out, which is great. I've had that patio door open as well, just to let a bit of that mist. I won't say there was a lot of overspray. What do I look like? Not too bad. Spray's fine. I will say that 15 to 20% thinning that paint down for the AF1, going through that 516 tip, no problem. It's actually sprayed quite well. Awkwardness is really that room. You've probably seen me on the fast forwarded version, having to climb on the table just to reach. Now, clear rooms are a lot easier to spray than rooms that have got things in them, clearly. But so far so good, it's drying nicely. When we come back to other segments of this video, we will then see what it's actually like. What it's actually like fully dry. At the moment, and I'm going to come up here, it is drying off nicely. The areas that aren't soaking in so well or where the fill has been, and where there's been a patch on the ceiling. So I'm just taking it, there was something on there a bit different to just contract matte emulsion. You can't see now because I've got the light coming in. Where I did that crack just there, if I can move it round, is still hanging very wet. Now I just think that's down to where the filler was and where I raked out just there. You can probably just see it. Hopefully they'll dry out all right. So far it's just looking a little bit patchy because it's still a bit wet, but other than that it doesn't look too bad at all. So rounding up on this section of the video, I will say that the GXFF cleaned out really well. So I'm going to say, because I've got it out, I'm going to actually use that for spraying the woodwork. Now the woodwork's going to be sprayed with a fine finish tip, being a 210. I've already changed the gun over. washed all the GXFF out, so there's no emulsion in it, and we're swapping over to the Helmi 30. So that'll be on the next video. Videos are coming up at the side, and when you come back in the next couple of days, that will be a dry sealing, and hopefully it's all right. So we'll keep our eye on it. We can always get a brush and roller on it if we don't like it, can't we? Yeah. Catch you again.